All right, so in this workout, we're going to focus a lot on backstroke timing, trying to coordinate the kick with the arm pull and the rotation. Basically, that whole body connection for backstroke that we did with freestyle, where we were trying to connect the kick to the hip rotation or the swivel to generate some torque rotation, hopefully to time it with the arm pull so we can produce as much force possible, as effectively or as efficient as possible by using the whole body together. So that's what we're going to look at in backstroke. And spoiler alert, it's backwards from freestyle. So we're going to spend a lot of time working back and forth, and hopefully that will even more solidify your whole body connection for freestyle. So just looking at the Olympic athletes here, their whole body connection, or at least the kick to arm pull timing, as I said, it's backwards. So when we were looking at it for freestyle, if you remember, and I will flip over in a second and look at freestyle, we had our stronger kick that wanted to drive the hips over or generate that torque force on the same side as our arm pull side. In backstroke, it's opposite. And again, I'll prove it with the Olympians, and then we'll look at my sad example of a backstroke. So really what we're looking for, and we'll look at the guy in the white cap here in the middle lane, we're looking for this power phase here in the arm pull. And as you can see, he's rolled over onto his side. So this first little phase here, he's kicking on that same side, but we're rolled over onto that side. So that's not the strong kick. If you look at the far side, that one is just setting up for, here's where the power comes on. And you can see that far side kick activating, which kicks the hips over and is timed with that close side arm pull. So it's far side kick, which pushes the hips over. And again, you can always think about what way do we want the hips going, and we need to provide force in that opposite direction. So by providing force upward on the water on that far side, that pushes the hips down or rotates the hips in obviously the opposite direction. Good old Newton. So again, for backstroke, we are doing the opposite. And just to slow it down here, again, looking at my sad stroke here, and I'm probably rotating, I shouldn't say probably, I'm rotating quite a bit too much. So this would be that kick on the same side, but this is the setup. So this is the catch, not a whole lot's happening here in the arm pull. It's right here, you can see on the far side, this is that kick, boom, that's pushing my hips back over. Now, if I was really pushing, I'd probably snap those a little bit better. You can see it more pronounced, but I'm going nice and easy here. You can see it well enough though, so that far side kicks, pushes the hips over, and is in time with that arm pull coming through. So everything connected, working together, as opposed to the arms just doing their thing and then their legs just doing their thing, or doing them opposite where they're not complementing. So if I fly forward here very quickly, just so you know that I'm not lying to you here, looking at freestyle. So this would be the opposite in terms of, here's this, here's the kick setting up here. So here's that strong beat. Bam, same side, swivels the hip in time with that arm, which of course I'm over exaggerating that high elbow catch. So again, it's going to be backwards. We're going to flip back and forth, and a lot of it will be focused on arm time. Now, if you're still working on the stroke, again, there's that low-hanging fruit. Some of you got the head position really well. Keep working on that. Some of you got the entry quite well. Keep working on that. I promised I was going to talk about that aspect really quickly as well. So in terms of not crossing over, I mentioned this today on the pool deck. I typically see that more with the pinky first entry people. That pinky first tends to rotate the shoulders a little more than they want to. And that's typically how we were taught to swim backstroke. We enter pinky, exit thumb, enter pinky. To be honest, that pinky, again, that rotation tends to break the elbow a little bit. I think just because of that, just a little over rotation. And it really depends on shoulder mobility. So the better mobility, the easier you would be able to do that. But if you just lay the hand back and enter or hit the water with the back of your hand, so you're backhanding the water, at that 10 and 2, when you actually get to the point of rotation, that hand moves from that 10 and 2 position almost up to the 12, if not pretty darn close, which is where you want to be when we get into the catch setup. So when you factor in the rotation, and it's kind of similar in freestyle, it's deceiving. They talk about the S pull, and even when you watch a swimmer do it, it looks like there is a little bit of an S, but it's really just due to the rotational change in the body as opposed to the swimmer actually trying to make an S path with the hand. So very similar in backstroke. It's deceiving. If you enter 10 and 2, by the time you rotate, you're probably going to be in a pretty darn good position to catch. Now, the other thing that I was seeing, I talked about, keeping the arms straight or not keeping the arms straight. A lot of you keep your arms straight the whole time, so it's really hard to separate the straight arm recovery and then a bent elbow under the water arm pull. I saw this in your freestyle as well when we were doing straight arm recovery. And if you're normally bending your elbow, you're used to that. So when you went to straight arm, you would keep a straight arm in your pull. So separating those two mechanics, straight arm on the recovery with a bent elbow, that is going to take some time to really practice and get. And we're going to do a lot of that in this current workout that we're going to look at in a second. But really what I want you to pay attention to for your shoulder health is to also ensure that you're setting up nice, but also rolling. If you're not rolling, to get under the water, you're going to have to reach back behind your shoulder joint. So as you can see my position here, because I'm rolled, everything has a nice line down through the shoulders, and I'm not reaching back, or my elbow is not coming, underneath my body, which would really compromise that shoulder joint. So to ensure, again, healthy shoulders, make sure you are getting that roll. And then when you get into this catch or mid pull even, when you're bending your elbow, keeping that hand a little closer to the surface. Again, we'll really want to be aware of drawing a nice straight line all the way through and making sure that elbow, or even worse, hand, isn't down below your body. Again, putting your shoulder into a not so friendly position. So that is pretty much what we're going to do in the workout today, or look at in the workout today. So let's flip over and look at the workout. So as we normally do, we're going to warm up with a little bit of a swim kick combo. Now, your choice in swim, your choice in kick. So if you want to practice some breaststroke, practice some backstroke, practice some different kicks, you're more than welcome. If you have no kick and you have to use fins, fine. But if you can kick without fins, save them for the main set, because we got quite a bit of backstroke and fin work coming up. So we don't want to wreck your ankles too much. Then we're going to move into the first little drill set here. We're going to go a few cycles through, depending on what level you're at, anywhere between 1 cycle up to 4 cycles. And you're going to go 2 of each of these. So you're going to be going 50 one-arm freestyle and then 50 freestyle. Again, you're going to do that twice before then you move down to backstroke, where we're doing one-arm backstroke and then 50 backstroke. So really what your focus is here, depending on where you're at level-wise, a little more advanced, I would go arm down for freestyle, breathe to that arm down side. Remember, that's being the harder one, and use that same side kick to action the body roll to come back over. Now, if you want to regress that back a little bit, you can go one-arm freestyle with your arm up and just, again, focus on firing that strong beat kick on the same side as the arm pull. And then we're going to flip it over, obviously, for the backstroke. So we're going to try to rewire you on your back where you're doing that strong kick with the opposite leg. So again, we want to get the hips going in the other direction. So we're going to go back and forth. And again, hopefully as we flip back and forth and you're purposefully messing up your entire timing, which tends to happen when we think about it. No, hopefully you can purposefully flip back and forth. And again, that will only reinforce your ability to purposefully connect the whole body for at least your freestyle. Then we move down to the main set, where again, we may do a few cycles depending on what level you're at. It's going to build. Again, we're going to keep flipping back and forth between freestyle and backstroke. The first one, all I want you to do is think about activating those lats when you're swimming backstroke. Again, that more sideways pull, if it's somewhat effective. Hopefully we'll be able to activate those lats as you squeeze that elbow down a little more than maybe on the freestyle, that you're maybe more pec engagement just because you're more towards your front. So play with that, see if you can activate the lats and then get that same muscle activation feeling when you're swimming freestyle. If you need a little hack for that, thinking about pulling with your elbows. Everything elbow down, don't worry about it. Just squeeze down, and again, try to fire those big muscles. Then we're going to move up to hundreds, where we're going to go back to some one-arm drill. And again, the focus is that whole body connection. If you didn't quite get it before, let's re-practice it. If you want to use fins to accentuate those kicks, keep those going. And again, keep working on that stroke timing. Then we're going to go to 150s, and we're just going to play with the stroke rate a little bit. So build the stroke rate up with the freestyle. Try to keep the legs up, meaning in time. So when the arms pick up, the kick has to pick up. And you can actually drive your stroke rate, if you like, by the kick. So think about, I'm going to pick the kick up and maybe the arms will come up. So just play with that, different stroke rates and keeping everything in time. For the backstroke, let's just keep working on that timing. So again, if you want to use fins, you're more than welcome to. But the idea for backstroke here, less about the synchronization and more about just keeping the arms going, meaning no pausing at the finish, which I saw a lot of you doing that today. Reinforces this is one of the most common mistakes I see. So no pause at the finish. As soon as you finish, sure, the hand may slow a bit before you bring it out, but keep it moving. Keep it coming right up and around. And again, hopefully we can keep those arms moving at least windmill-ish to achieve more flow in your backstroke. From there, we're just gonna cool down, call it a day, and we'll move on to the next workout, which we're doing some butterfly. Please come back. Till the next one.